One fan base, one city, one team brings us all together. The Cleveland Browns. If you're a Browns fan, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Down with the Browns.
Ladies and gentlemen, tuning in all over the world. Welcome. This is Down with the Browns. It is September 3rd, 8 p.m. Boys, how are we feeling? It is week one. How are we feeling on this week one? How are we feeling?
Woo! We're back,
good.
baby.
We're back.
Blake, come on, man. Wake up some neighbors in that hotel room. Let's go.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you can.
It's
Bang the walls,
It
dude.
is not. It is Blake. It is not. I've realized it's not 8 p.m. where you're at because I know it's
It is 7 p.m.
Central Time. 1 hour behind Central
Yes, sir.
Time. Shout out to Gage. I'm down with the Browns.
There you go,
Cat
Gage
Cuts
Tanner.
podcast
Gage
showing up.
Tanner.
Cuts
Okay, good.
Browns got some love from Kentucky. Let's get it, baby. We have a jam-packed show. We got Zach, we got DM, we got Blake, and yours truly, Manny. We are going over week one. Cowboys are coming to town, right? Obviously, everybody and their mom knows about it. Dave, you said it's a great pre-show. You were like, listen, it's the Cowboys. I mean, it's no big deal. It's just a American team, whatever the case may be, coming to town. But first, we have to address the elephant in the room for all Cleveland Browns fans. We have a name change. We have a absolute stadium name change. Which is now Huntington Bank Field.
For 20 years. 20-year deal.
20 years locked in. So announced today.
20 years too many.
20 years too many. We're abandoning the short-lived Cleveland Browns Stadium, which I actually like that. I want to get your guys' opinion.
I did too.
I kind of like that. I don't know why, but I like fields that are named their team name. I don't know why. So there's no advertisement, doesn't change or anything. But yeah, so on Tuesday, the Browns at Huntington National Bank announced a 20-year naming right deal that transformed the Cleveland Browns Stadium, into Huntington Bank Field. So, boys, I'll start with you, Dave. What do you think about this name change? Are you liking it? Is it a little bit weird? What's your thoughts?
Well, I bank with Huntington, so as far as that goes, that's nice. 20-year deal. This is step one of the Haslam plan on 300 steps on how he's going to go ahead and pay for this Brook Park complex. So we've seen the first piece of the pie. I don't know what the money is per year on that 20-year deal, but whatever it is, it's going towards the Haslam multiplex right there next to the airport. And it will be named Huntington Bank Field, and I like it.
Absolutely. And the name, and they did confirm that the name will be following them, whether they stay downtown or they move to Brook Park. Blake, you said earlier that you did like the name. Dive a little bit deeper into this for me. What Huntington Bank, is it the name? Is it who Huntington Bank is? What's your disdain for?
I don't know. It just doesn't ring off. It doesn't sound good off the tongue, dude. Huntington Bank Field. I mean, and it's a green logo. For some reason, I don't like it. And from being from Southern Ohio, as soon as I think Huntington, I think of Huntington, West Virginia. And I'm like, well, that's not in Ohio.
Fair enough.
No offense to West Virginians listening.
Yeah, no offense.
No offense to West Virginia. But I think, you know what I think also, before I let you go, Zach, because I need your opinion on it too. I also think, like, I tweeted this out earlier. What do you call it? Like, what do you say? You say, like, meet me at the bank, or meet me at the hunt, meet me at the H or something like that. Like, oh, I'm going to, because like for Philly, because I'm in the Philly area, obviously, but like they say, oh, we're going to Lincoln Financial Field, we're going to the Link. Or, and the Ravens say we're going to the bank.
This will be the HBF.
We're going to HBF. So we're going to HBF. Meet me there. I don't even know. That because now everybody there's going to be two banks, and Ravens fans are already, they had to chime in early under the post that the Browns made.
The bank closed.
Yeah, the bank is closed on Sunday. We're going to be hearing that if we lose. Zach, tell me your thoughts. I know you got something for me. What do you think?
I don't really. To be fair, I don't really I feel like they overhyped news because they were not doing anything.
I thought it was going to be completely something different.
Yeah, I thought they were going to announce something that actually I can't believe I'm saying it like this, but actually mattered. I don't care what the place is called.
That's just about the money.
Right. I guess that's
my money.
But for me, I just want team to win. That's all I care about. Do whatever the hell you want. You can name it. You can name it anything you want. Just win. That's all I care about.
As long as they're hanging a championship banner from the roof, that's all that matters.
And with the new roof, the renovated roof, right, Brook Park roof. But I think that what's interesting is a thing. But we don't me personally. I don't like it because I geared and shifted more toward the Cleveland Browns Stadium because, like I said, I like names that are named after the team, the stadium. I don't know why, but it's just simple. It's real simple. I'm going to Brown Stadium, or if you're going to have a partnership, have a long-standing partnership. But what I found interesting about Heinz Field with the Pittsburgh Steelers over there, I don't admire anything they do except the Super Bowl trophies. I respect that, but I think a lot of Pittsburgh fans, and if you ask anybody still in the Pittsburgh area, they still call it Heinz Field.
Oh yeah.
I think they have a hard time getting over it, but psychologically, I think it's because they won. Plain and simple, they win football games there. There's a lot of good playoff moments there. AFC
They still have Heinz ketchup bottles everywhere in the stadium.
Exactly, they still have Heinz ketchup bottles. It's very unique to the city. So, to your point, Zach, I know you're saying you don't care about anything but winning, but if the Browns start winning really well, which we're on the uptick, right? Made the playoffs last year. Made the playoffs a couple of times in the past couple of years. So I think all we have to do is win a division, or consistently go to the playoffs, or make an AFC championship. Heck, I'll take a Super Bowl. But if you associate the new rebound Browns, the new 2020 Browns, you're going to associate those Browns with the Huntington Bank Field. So, because you'll see the sign everywhere to be on the AFC Championship game, one day if we're hosting one. So I think that right now it's weird, but if it's going to be there for 20 years, I'm thinking in 15 years, we're not going to call it, anything else. I don't think we're going to trip up and call it First Energy Stadium. We've only had that for 10 years. What, 2013, I think?
I still call Rocket Mortgage Gund Arena. That's I grew up calling it the Gund. That's what it's called for. I still slip up and do it. I still call it the Q every once in a while as well. When you have iconic names of anything, right? People are going to call it that. The Guardians are a great example. The amount of people that still call them the Indians, they're going to call it you're never going to really. There's some people that's just what they're going to call them, and that's fine. I don't see a problem with any of them. But whether we win, lose, draw, the name of the field, I think, is irrelevant because, dude, the amount of companies that go and try to buy rights to naming stadiums and all of these things, it's all for advertising and to try to get more revenue for this team so they can build new things for the players, and that's fine. So to me, it's bigger fish to worry about and catch than worry about that, in my opinion. But
yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's going to be something that we're going to look back on and say it really doesn't matter, and it's going to be called what it's called. I truly believe that winning will change it, and 20 years is a long enough time, I think, for people to call it a different name. Because First Energy Stadium, I just feel like it didn't really stick too much to me. So, but Cleveland Brown Stadium did because it was originally Cleveland Brown Stadium. So Week 1 is upon us. We have a game starting with the Ravens and Chiefs, I think, on Thursday on prime time. I don't even know what price it's going to be on Netflix, Amazon Prime. I don't even know what Thursdays are these days because it's split into so many places. But I do know that we're going to be nationally televised because the Cowboys are coming to town at 4:25. There's a lot to unpack when we're talking about the Cowboys. I know when I think about the Cowboys, I think about Odell Beckham on that reverse a few years ago in Dallas, and that was just a crazy game. I just, for some reason, I'm comfortable with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't. A lot of people, I think on the Pick'em, ESPN Pick'em, I think the nation 70% of people who are doing the picking. Oh, that is cat. I don't know why that just switched, but is changing.
No cats.
Just what? Are we being infiltrated right now?
Hey, tune in.
Whoa!
Yo,
Bro!
what's going on here? What's the
Tune in to the
background?
Cat Cuts podcast.
Look who it is. Look who it is.
What's up?
Welcome. We'll play some music for you. What is up? We've been infiltrated by KFC himself.
What's up, boys?
Going on?
What's up? What's up?
Cowboys. Gage is tripping.
Well, Gage is one of my buddies. He's a Cowboys. He's
Oh, is he? Perfect
Cowboys
episode
fan.
to be here. Perfect episode to be here. Perfect episode.
Yeah. He lived in Ohio for a little bit and then decided to go back to Dallas.
Oh, jeez.
Well, San Antonio technically, but he's a Dallas guy.
Listen, I'm going to open the floor. I'm going to open the floor to you first, Blake. What are when you're thinking about the Cowboys here, Dak Prescott, obviously CeeDee Lamb with that big fat extension. What do you think about? What do you think about these Cowboys and Micah Parsons coming to town? Let me hear if you're concerned or not. If you're concerned,
Boys, I have zero concerns. Okay, Trayvon Diggs coming off an ACL tear. Deron Bland out for the game. They have two old running backs in Dalvin Cook and Zeke. Like, they aren't good anymore. Two rookie linemen. I mean, dude, they're not going to be good. They only have CD at receiver. We have the best cornerback tandem in the NFL. CD's going to get shut down. They're going to have to make someone else pop off. And Dak is overrated.
you know what's the what is that appeal with Dak Prescott? What is that like?
I like Dak.
Stats.
Maybe Gage can also throw a comment in, but
He
isn't he? I feel like he's Baker Mayfield, just a little bit better. Like
he throws it a lot to a really good receiver that gets a lot of yards. People like
Plural.
big numbers.
He's had many good receivers, plural.
Many good receivers.
very.
They
Including
win
Amari
13
Cooper.
games a year, and they don't do anything in the postseason.
I think because who did they lose to last year in the first round?
Packers, wasn't it?
I think it was Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Jordan
that
Love,
was-
Jordan
Packers.
Love smacked him. Right, that's right. Jordan Love smacked him.
So
But
I got one thing.
Go ahead, Kipsy.
Okay, the one thing that's kind of got me is nobody's talking about it, and it kind of upsets me a little bit. You know, we got this one boy on the squad that we may have got from the Cowboys about 2 years ago
Oh my
that
God.
wasn't very happy.
The initials AC.
And you know, one thing I do know about this guy
Wipe
is
your nose.
he's a dog.
Cowboys lost to the 49ers.
Well,
Niners.
I don't know.
But-
I think you guys are underselling this. I don't think it has anything to do with the Cowboys being,
It's just
quote
the
unquote bad
aura.
or
It's
the aura.
of
I
the
think
Cowboys.
it's game one of a 17 games. It's 18-week season, 17 games, right? So whether we go in and we win, great. If we go in and we lose, I'd rather lose.
It's
I just
okay.
want to make sure that we're not losing by pulling a Titans in 2019 where we got
what a blowout!
what was it 40-some to 7 or something like that.
I
Like,
was right
yeah.
there for it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm like the outcome of the game really is going. Obviously I want to win, but like to me, there's so many more things that I need to see to even be confident in this team going into week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on.
If they beat the Cowboys, like I can't just be like Super Bowl, Super Browns. Like it's week
Yeah.
1 always.
That I get it.
Still a statement.
I'm sorry, but like,
Still a
let's be
statement.
real. We set the tone with the
Exactly.
Cowboys. This is a prime time game for the
Thank you.
nation.
The game of the week.
It's the game.
It's
Tom
America's
Brady-
team versus America's team.
No, it's what was America's team to what is America's team is going face off in America's new heartland, Cleveland, Ohio, because we got the new bank that owns us now.
Yes.
Up there on
Yes.
the riverfront, the bank on the bank. But going back to the Amari Cooper thing,
Bank on the
I
bank.
think Amari
Oh.
Cooper goes
I like
off
that. I like
because this guy's going to be pissed off. I think Amari's going to be pissed off, and he's going to want that ball because he's going to be like, I guarantee he will look. He'll try to find what's the fat coach they got. What's his name?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarty, whatever.
Mike
Mike McCarty, John McCarty. Don't even know who that is. But it don't matter. Amari Cooper's going to go hand him the ball like Demarius Randall did Hugh Jackson a few years ago after his 2-touchdown game.
And I completely agree with what you're saying, KFC, because truthfully, with everything that is going into this game, I think that because there's a problem with Dallas right now, right? I mean, I think it was Jerry Jones said something about Dak or inconsistencies or something or whatever the case may be, and then Dak was like, "I just tone out what Jerry Jones said." I don't know if you guys saw that, but he's like, "I just kind of turn out what he says a long time ago, and you just gotta play the game on the field, leave it on the field, or something like that." But like, there's some problems over there in Dallas, and a lot of people are watching this year, which I think it is a make or break year for Dallas for Dak Prescott and Dallas, really, because they might have to start all over. So let's see what they got with Trey. What's his name? Trey Lance. So I personally am looking at their team. I know they have good tight ends. I know they have good wide receivers. But one good wide receiver, Brandon Cooks is he's a little old, but Brandon Cooks always does his thing. But you have to set the tone with this game. You have to set the tone with this game. If you go out there at 4:25 on national television and you beat them convincingly, and Deshaun Watson comes out hot,
Boy.
we're talking. All about you gotta get momentum. And I think with the Browns, I think if you start the year 1-0, obviously you take it game by game, but like imagine, it's so crazy to think, but imagine the Browns starting 2-0. Like, I don't even know the last time we started 2-0.
1980 something.
1980 something. Imagine
Something like that.
heading into week 3 or 4 and can say, hey, the Browns are undefeated. We haven't been able to say that, and you know what I mean, in some of our lifetimes. So like I just think it's very important. I think it's very important to set the tone early. 100%. You gotta hop on them early, and you gotta score. You don't have to score the first drive, but nothing would make me feel better if we get the ball and walk it right down. Kevin Stefanski is amazing when it comes to that opening drive. Like, let's not forget, he points. That's another thing.
Defense out there.
That defense. And another thing I want to see too is I'm praying, I'm hoping, please, Lord, please, Dustin Hopkins. I hope it translates over to this season as well. I hope it, one, because I drafted him in fantasy, right? But number two, I don't want last year to be a fluke, man. I don't. That it was a very he was the best kicker in the National Football League last year. I'm telling you, it was going every time he trotted out there, it was going in. So 100%. Gage, great question. Go.
So one thing I got to dip out. I've got to go take care of some business,
Absolutely.
aka I gotta poop. So I'm gonna give my prediction on the game.
Yeah.
One hot take.
Yeah.
One hot take. I think Deshaun comes out and just shuts up everybody. I'm not gonna say he's gonna go for like 500 yards or anything like that, but I'm gonna say he's gonna be banking on the 300 mark, and he's gonna have 4 touchdown passes. And I think the Browns
275.
win 42-20. Go Browns!
Bro,
like it.
go. Hey.
42
Speaking of go Browns, go ahead and take the Browns to the Super Bowl before you go in your pants.
balloons.
I'm gonna go get down with the Browns, baby. Peace out.
Peace out, bro. Outro music. There you go.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, so now obviously we're talking at home.
Oh,
So 100%. This is very important. Gage brought up a very good question, which we were going to talk about, because obviously we have this man as a problem. But I want to post up his question first before we post about it. But Gage said, "What are your thoughts on Nick Chubb out for 4 weeks? I think Jerome Ford can step up week 1. Think Jerome Ford can step up week 1? Question mark. I completely agree. Also, Gage, that it starts with Watson 100%. But that does lead us to our second question of the night. Jerome Ford. I mean, are we concerned a little bit going again into the season? And let's specifically talk about week 1 and that great Cowboys defense starting and ending with Micah Parsons. I want to go with Dave here. How do you think the Browns are going to use Jerome Ford? You're at home. You're on prime time. How do you think they're going to use Jerome Ford in this game particularly? And then we'll talk about throughout the 4-game stretch or longer, depending on Nick Chubb. But this game specifically, Dave, how do you think they're going to use Jerome Ford?
Well, I mean, of the 4 games, this is the most important that they figure out how they're going to use Jerome Ford, because, the Cowboys have a great offense, but everybody forgets their defense was almost as good as the Browns defense last year. There was very few holes in this defense.
Except for one thing.
Running the ball and also in the red
Bingo.
zone. So that's why we're really missing Nick Chubb this week, because had we had Nick Chubb, I think that would give us a bigger opportunity to have success and win. So I hope they figure out how they're going to use Jerome Ford, because we're going to need to try and run the ball against them. DeMarcus Lawrence coming off that other side. You got Maisie Smith in the middle. I mean, those guys are coming after Deshaun Watson because they know there is no Nick Chubb back there. So we have to figure out a way to get Ford into the game and into the game plan and get him in early. This is a game where everybody says, hey, listen, it's the Cowboys. It's not the end of the world. It's an NFC team. It has 0 implications on a tiebreaker, blah, blah, blah. This game is massively important. We are all holding on, knowing that we have a Super Bowl roster. My little banner underneath my name says Super Bowl if ... That if is Deshaun Watson, as it should be. This whole season is hinged on what we see from Deshaun Watson, and I think this game, like, was it you, Manny, or was it Christian that said that Deshaun Watson was gonna blow up? And I really hope he does and silence everybody for life. Now we'll know. He'll come in here. He'll put a statement victory on a nationally televised game that's the game of the week, and that would just set the tone for the rest of the season. And I think it's so important that he does that.
100%. You almost have to come out and set the tone a little bit, because what would be really good, and I'm gonna let you go, Blake, next to of what you're kind of thinking, but what would be great is if Jerome Ford comes out and I say, again, do I have him on my fantasy team? Yes, I do. I plan on dropping him after week 5. Okay. All this is
you solid backup,
right. You know what I'm saying? Like you think it's crazy that I'm biased and just being a Browns fan, but I'm extra biased because he's on my fantasy team. But I think truly, if he comes out and has 12 carries for 80, maybe 90 plus yards and a touchdown, I think it sets the tone to say, hey, you still need to pay attention to the Cleveland Browns offense because their offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. I understand Bill Callahan's over there with his son in Tennessee, but we still have a really good offensive line. You can't forget about that. And I think if you set the tone with Jerome Ford, it opens up the pass game moving forward.
Everything else.
So, Blake, how do you feel? What are your thoughts? How do you think the Browns are going to potentially use him? Do you think they're going to use him a lot? Do you think they're not going to use him? Steady flow. I'm going to give you Solo. Go ahead.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, we still have Devonta Foreman, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more split up with Ford and Devonta Foreman. I mean, granted, Devonta Foreman's no Nick Chubb, but he's going to be those hard-nosed 3-4 yards, and they need to get Ford in the open space. Ford is more of a home run hitter running back. You can't give that guy 15, 20 carries a game. Like he needs to get maybe 10 at max, and one of those can hit a big run, and Devonta Foreman can do the rest. But I think they'll do okay for when Nick Chubb comes back, for sure.
Gage has a really good point here, or a more statement. I'm curious to see how our new defense coordinator Mike Zimmer does week 1. Hopefully he can make our front four stand out and stop the run, which has a huge issue for us in the Dan Quinn.
Well, not huge. They were middle of the pack last year, but they got gashed a couple times for sure.
Guess who's familiar with that defense for years?
Little Kevin Stefanski, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you know who else is Ken Schwartz as well? Or Jim Schwartz, I mean. Yeah, Jim Schwartz, because he was head coach in Detroit. People forget.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot that he was because he had that post-game tussle with Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh. Yep.
Harbaugh, right?
Yep.
Kevin loves the first drive of the game. He absolutely loves it.
Zach, what do you think? What do you think for Jerome Ford? Do you think the Browns are going to go light on him? Do you think you're going to go heavy? What do you think?
I don't expect anything different than a typical Kevin Stefanski, scripted first half of the game, or first, you say 15 odd plays, right? So that's kind of where he's going to go with it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a mix of both guys. It's a running back by committee now. I mean, he's said it multiple times. But I don't know if in my opinion the run game is going to be very important or as important, because we always find a way to somehow get yardage out of a run game, whether it's little bubble screens or just little flats, little dump screens, just stuff like that to get the ball advanced forward. Yeah. So I'm not really too worried about that. I think the biggest question, which was brought up earlier, is what the hell's our quarterback going to do? And it starts with him and ends with him.
Yep. And
I'm not saying that he has to go out on Sunday and be the MVP caliber performance right away, but he needs to show and start off where he left off against the Ravens last year in that masterful second half of 14 for 14 and 2 touchdowns. You got to start there, and then we can start talking about the next step, because as far as I know, that's the biggest question mark that pretty much every single person has, is we don't know what we have in him, because the upside is huge, but the downside is pretty severe as well. Because I like DTR, but I don't know if he is ready to take that step. So it'll be interesting.
And it's real quick, Manny and everybody. And it's the only question mark we have.
Yep.
We know what that offensive line is. We know what the defensive line is. We know what Miles does. We know what Za'Darius does. We know what those defensive tackles do. We brought him back. We know what JOK does. We've seen the other 2 linebackers in this league for a long time. We know what our defensive backs do, and we know we got probably 3 of the top 50 corners in the league on our team. We know what the wide receivers are. We know what happens when Nick Chubb comes back. What we don't know is what in the hell is Deshaun Watson going to do? Nobody knows. And it's the only question mark we have on this team. And we find out week 1 at home against Dallas.
100%. And go ahead, Blake. You wanted to say something?
I just hope Deshaun himself knows that he doesn't have to come out here this first week and just be a flipping animal. Like, take what's given to you.
Don't turn the ball over.
Don't go for the big play. Like, he's just got to facilitate the ball. Easy little stick routes, easy comeback routes. The deep ball will come. Kevin Stefanski loves scheming up the deep ball when it's there. He just can't try to do extra than what he needs to do yet.
100%. I think that's such a huge point because sometimes look.
Quarterbacks, like, you want to be cool. You want to throw the 80-yard bomb.
Yes.
Like, you don't want to be boring. I don't care. We want to win the football game. Just read your keys, throw it down, and then the receiver will do the rest, and we will scheme up the big play.
Yep. Convert third downs and don't turn the ball over. It's really simple.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and I think I speak for the whole fucking Browns nation here. Slide. Stop fucking getting hit because another year of injuries out of this. Slide and sit in the pocket. The biggest thing I had all preseason when I was watching him playing is he held the football and fucking ran. And listen, I'm not claiming to be a quarterback whisperer, nor can I play the quarterback. And I'm not saying that any of that. But throw the football. If you don't have it, throw it away. You don't look at someone. You look at someone like Tom Brady, who would spend 2 or 3 downs sometimes on a game-winning drive, throwing the ball out of bounds. Just don't do anything to hurt your team because when you're injured, you're hurting your team because you're the quarterback. You're hurting your team.
That we converted. We're paying him $40 million this year to just manage the game. We'll need him to make splash plays, but for early on, it's like we're paying all this money and we're praying that he can manage the game. I mean, that's such a scary position to be in for a franchise, man.
I mean, that's the position what's it called that we were put in. When we decided to trade for him. We knew that this was going to be question marks. I mean, anybody who thought that this was like a full on like certain ACL replacement of our team, like, come on, like this team is. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. We paid the guy $250 million guaranteed, or $230 guaranteed to just come to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I hope he didn't pay him $230 million just to come to Cleveland.
I'm just saying is that's the difference between, because we could be having a really different conversation right now where he's in Atlanta. So, what I'm saying is we put in the crazy, ask, and he was like, how do I turn that down? And I don't blame him. But
don't blame him at all.
The story of this season isn't, anything other than Deshaun Watson. Like, it's time to put up or shut up because
Zach, you brought up some good points, and I wrote them down so I could say it because Blake brought up a good point too. But I did want to address slightly what Gage asked about, can the Browns financially move on from after this year? Well, we pushed off so much of his.
So here,
you know what I mean?
They pay him $1 million this year as his base salary, Gage. Next year and the year after that, it's $70 million is the hit on the cap. Which any trade would have to be burdened. A good portion of that would be a burden to any team that they moved on from him with.
It's hard to even talk about, really.
And this tells me that they fully trust him to.
They're all in on him all 5 years. Yep, 100%.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like, I know that training camp and preseason is all about just ironing out that stuff, but it does worry me because a lot of the times that he a lot of the things that we saw in the games last year where we were like, dude, get rid of the football, stop, causing more problems than we need.
Yeah,
or
quit throwing the ball into the ground on 10-year out routes.
Well, that's to me, that's just rust. I'd rather you throw the ball and listen, if you throw the football into the ground, fine. I don't want that football thrown into the ground behind the line of scrimmage, and I don't want that football thrown into the ground to where it somehow can be intercepted. Listen, if you're going to miss far off, because I don't want the ball intercepted. I don't want that stuff. But in camp, we saw a lot of those same issues, and it's a lot of the things that, whether people want to admit it or not, we criticized Baker Mayfield for, with the toe tapping, the anticipation, the making sure that people aren't there and then winding up and forcing something in. So, yeah, does this part of it have to be on Deshaun? Absolutely, just like it was on Baker. But some of this also is Kevin Stefanski, because we haven't just had one quarterback that has done this or two. We've had multiple quarterbacks that come into the system that do this. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but you look at when you have a guy like Joe Flacco or Jacoby Brissett, right? It's almost in a weird way that Kevin Stefanski likes that more, because he can rely on a guy just timing. Ball needs to come out here. Ball needs to come out here. Now, I'm not saying that that's what needs, that's what's going to happen this year. I'm just saying these are factual things that everybody criticizes any other quarterback, even, prior to Baker Mayfield on.
Right.
So we got to stay consistent with it.
You touch on a good point, because again, like I want to say number one, for what you were talking about with Blake, or what Blake was talking about, just that goes in hand in hand with just don't turn the ball over, don't do too much. It's week one. It's even when we played the Jags the week after, and then the Giants and the Raiders, like, we're talking about teams that, all right, you can get into the groove with. It sounds horrible, Deshaun, but like Joe Flacco came in, I don't know if it's so much Kevin Stefanski or the type of quarterback. Joe Flacco came in and just was like, this team is fantastic. Let me just do my job. I'm going to throw interceptions. All right, whatever. I throw the ball 100 miles per hour. I'm going to throw interceptions. Just do your job for a couple of games, Deshaun, until just like Gage was saying, like, I miss the old Deshaun Watson. Houston Deshaun Watson was deadly. Like I think for Deshaun, for a couple of games, number one, just take your time, go through your progressions, make the right reads, make the right plays. Don't be flashy for the first couple of weeks. Once you get that confidence back to make some plays and spin off tackles and start, you know what I mean, and you're sliding.
Then let it rip.
Then let it rip and turn it.
Let it rip.
Yep. Because I think what he needs to give the fans, really the front office, is
basic performance.
Basic performance, because, bro, we know what your ceiling is. We've seen it. Or not your ceiling, but we know the potential you have. But we need you to get healthy enough to get in the groove to be that. Right. And what's unfortunate is that Browns fans, we've had to endure comments like what Gage just said, 12 games.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. We have to sit through this and like, what about Deshaun? We don't know what we get from Deshaun, but Shannon Sharp and Dan Orlovsky and a lot of other national media football pundits have said the same thing. If Deshaun Watson is just a little bit better than Baker Mayfield when he was in Cleveland, we're talking about a very good. If he's Brock Purdy, look at Brock Purdy in San Fran. If you're just Brock Purdy, I mean, my gosh! And then imagine what would happen if Deshaun turns into Deshaun. We're talking about we're the Chiefs, right? Like, we don't need him to be dazzling and all that stuff yet. I think there's a weight that we're talking about. It's a $230 million guaranteed. The weight on his shoulders, and let's admit it, he's on social media. He acts like he's not on social media, but he reads the tweets. He wants to put on a flashy play or this, that, or the other. And we keep going back to the 14-14 drive versus the Baltimore Ravens. If he's just comparable for a couple of weeks, us Browns fans and the front office will be like, man,
we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Yep.
Because once he's confident and he goes out there and plays like Houston Deshaun, we're going to be golden. We're going to be.
Hey, Manny, let me ask you this.
I wish I
Let
could
me,
see
let
that.
me ask
dude.
you guys this. Based off of what you guys are talking about, I feel the exact same way. Hey, just go out there, get your legs up under you, get yourself a couple good, efficient games under your belt, and then we'll just let everything rip. Well, how worried are you guys about the absolute lack of playing in the preseason? Zero. There has been none. I don't care how many times they tell me that they've looked good in practice. They have zero game chemistry developed right now.
See,
There
I'm
has
not
been
worried.
no
I'm not worried
I'm
about
not-
that.
I'm not as worried because one, they did the inter squad practice with the Vikings.
right.
He did. He went and let the starters everything, but
that's it.
but they're not. But they wasn't going to throw Deshaun Watson out there with a fifth string
They should
left
have.
tackle.
They should have.
I think it was. It doesn't
this
matter,
is-
and the reason it doesn't matter is because what? Okay, so we throw him out there for one drive. The guy throws if he throws a touchdown on the first drive, oh my God, he's Jesus and reincarnated. He throws an interception or incomplete out of one drive. Oh my God, Browns have something to worry about. I think it's stupid to even put him out there. There's so many players that don't
Dude,
play in the
if Patrick
preseason.
Mahomes plays snaps in the preseason, everybody should play snaps
But
in the
but you got
preseason.
Lamar
Nobody
Jackson,
is more valuable to their team in the league than Patrick Mahomes is. Dude.
That's
It's
true.
true.
Lamar Jackson didn't play either.
But we didn't play a soul. We didn't play.
I think that
nobody.
hurts us, Blake. I think that's what I'm saying is I'm
But
not just
they
saying
did
Deshaun. We
but
don't
they
have
did it for-
anybody playing.
But they did it for precautions because of what happened last year.
Great. So we're
And we
gonna be
had
100%
30 million
healthy and
people hurt.
rusty. We could possibly get blown out being 100% healthy because we're rusty.
I have that opinion too, but I'm just
But
saying
hold
on their
let me-
defense.
Well, to be fair, and I'm, I get the whole rusty thing, but the Cowboys had a lot of guys that didn't start a single game, so they could be saying the exact same thing, right?
And
I mean-
and I don't know, but that's
I'm just saying the only reason I say this is because it's like we don't. I think people overvalue preseason and they undervalue preseason. No one ever just I think the preseason is. I think it's too long. I think people are. We get a little too
I agree.
infatuated.
It should be like college.
I
It should be
agree.
like college and not
Yeah.
even have one.
But
Right.
here, I think the stats are irrelevant. They are irrelevant in the preseason
Sure.
game. I agree with you, Zach.
Yeah,
However, there's a difference between game speed and non-game speed.
yeah,
And
but
that's
week
the
one,
thing.
it's like basketball. First 3 or 4 games, these guys are trying to figure out where their other shot is. I mean,
That's a quarter of our season, though. Can we really lift it?
I know, but 4 quarters is a good way of judging that. Like if you go out there and the guy's completing passes that he has that he should be completing and missing some that he shouldn't miss. I mean, you got to take it for what it is. But I mean, I get it. I'm not saying that this team should I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any worry at all. I'm just saying is I don't know how much of how much you could really quantify how much that's actually doing anything.
It's just when he came off that shoulder surgery, there's so much unknown about him. I just think that playing him a drive or two in the preseason would have checked so many boxes. Yes, there's risk that he gets rolled up on. Yes, I understand that. But, 10 to 15 snaps at game speed, I think would have been really valuable for a lot of reasons, including our fandom. We all want to see him too.
That's the thing. I think it only checks boxes for us.
Yeah, it doesn't
Not
check
the
boxes
Browns.
for them.
Not
We're going
the Browns
We're
organization.
going to find out Sunday, Blake, if that's true.
Yeah, I think it's a fair. I mean, I think it's a fair point though. Like I would have questions as well, and I think many people do. But I just think when it comes down to Is the preseason going to be the thing that sets him back from playing or not playing? I don't think so. I mean, Lamar Jackson didn't play. There's so many guys that didn't play. Now the difference
If you're listening
between
or watching, put it in the comments what you think about whether no play in the preseason is going to be detrimental or irrelevant.
listen, if he comes out and he has a first half of and I hope this doesn't happen, but it's 2 interceptions, one of them's a pick six, kind of like that Steelers game last year, where we're just like, dude, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? I think then that's when I will definitely start to, question what the hell's going on here.
I think it depends on because you do want to think about, right? There are guys like Joe Burrow who played during the preseason, but he came off of injury. There's guys like Patrick Mahomes, Dave, that you said played in the preseason. I'm not entirely sure. What I'm more concerned about is whose choice it was for him to not play at all. Was it his? Was it the coaching staff? Was it both? Was it the training staff? I want to
the third game. Stefanski
Deshaun
said, "Hey, listen, we don't want to throw him out there with backup tackles," and I get that.
Yeah,
Deshaun was dressed for
Somewhere
the third
in there, they should
preseason
have
game.
found 2 drives for him with the
Yeah.
one. With
Yeah,
the
he-
one.
Yeah, I mean, he was dry. I mean, Blake's right.
He was suited up.
dressed.
He wanted to go.
I think
couple of
Stefanski owned that
snaps. I mean, the man's got to throw. I wish he threw a couple of snaps.
Yeah, a couple.
People act like it doesn't even really matter. Like it doesn't matter at all. But that's the last
It's just
time we
us
saw
fans
it.
just want to see it. We
I
want
just
to.
want to see you throw it
Because we don't know. It's
we
the
haven't
only
seen you
question
since-
mark on
we
the
haven't seen
team.
Baltimore
Our quarterback.
last year. Baltimore is since of last year. I mean, we saw right because he didn't play the rest of the season.
No, that was it. That was
Right.
what he left us with.
And he's been playing against guys who can't touch him. So now I'm like, can you go against somebody who's trying
Exactly.
to
Give me some game speed. That's all I said.
And
Yeah.
this is the most quiet preseason we've had under the Stefanski Barry era.
Yeah.
It has been dead silent. That's why we haven't done a podcast in months. It feels like
Yeah, I mean,
because nothing has happened. Nothing has been spoken
Sorry,
about.
Cooper.
Absolutely
But
nothing.
What about JOK's wrist? What's up with that?
Yeah, I saw it.
yeah, that was clubbed up.
Just a random picture surfaces, and he's got the cast on. I'm like, what in the
That was
heck?
clubbed up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on,
I-
but he actually had
posted that.
something last year on something as well. He was wearing a couple things on his wrist last year, but maybe it was more precautionary. I don't know. I mean, if it's not being reported, either A, it's not that big of a deal, or B,
But that's what I mean. How secretive they're doing it because it was never said in the press conferences. I only saw it because it was on the Browns Instagram account of the 4th picture you swipe over.
Yeah.
So I
You saw that
so I
club in there.
screenshotted it and put it on Twitter, and I looked at the exact same Twitter post that's supposed to match with the Instagram, and they didn't have that picture on there. And I'm like, what
Well,
does
we
this mean? So that's why I posted it. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And nobody could even give me a clear answer because nobody knew.
I zoomed in on his wrist, and I was like, my stomach started hurting.
It looks like he just.
what is that?
It looks like he just had his gloves on that he normally does, and they literally just taped his hand and wrist.
it might have been. It might have been.
we need him all year.
Could have been a helmet to hand collision that he had that just was nagging him. Who knows? I mean, he's a linebacker, so these guys are, they break a finger, they're right back.
Yeah,
in there.
they're stubborn and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
have you ever seen those? It's the same thing like wide receivers. You see Torrey Holt's freaking pinky, how it goes the complete opposite.
Yeah, and they
direction.
just snapped it back in.
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
just,
They're used to their hands.
these
I-
guys.
We'll find out. Obviously on Sunday.
5 days.
We'll find out very quickly. And
Yeah, Blake.
Brown's Twitter is going to go crazy and say so many things of preseason matters or preseason doesn't matter. And we'll see if Deshaun goes out there and goes 17.
We'll find out at 425.
We'll
Dude,
find
that's
out at
why.
425.
That's why I have stayed off of Twitter the past month or so. It's just so much I can't
It's so
do it.
hectic.
That is not nice to your
That's why-
60,000 followers.
That's why I like the regular season Twitter because Granted, we're overreacting, but at least we're overreacting from something that matters. You know,
Right. Right. No,
Everybody's like, this defense sucks, and we have like Hawasi fucking guarding somebody.
Exactly. I'm like, come on.
we've got Siaki or Ika, whatever,
Yeah.
flying around like and getting clotheslined by offensive linemen. Like,
It's hard to watch. It's
Yep.
hard to watch. And another thing too is a problem that we probably haven't had, which is maybe a good problem that we're not having. We're not looking at the draft and looking at young guys or saying, "Hey, this is an opportunity to see this is a person such and such and such." I think the most highly touted young person was DTR again for the preseason. Just seeing DTR fly around in there a little bit was kind of maybe it was
Mike Hall, then he got in trouble.
Exactly. Mike Hall, and then he got in trouble. So it's like maybe seeing Jamari Thrash. I don't know. But for most people, it was like none of our players, like that shows you how good our team is. It's a situation we're normally not in. But if we
There
had
was nobody to replace.
Warren Jones pick, but,
who are we going to play? Our whole team is good. Where's the weak spot? The only unknown is quarterback. Maybe running back.
Quarterback, running back, left tackle, maybe, but Jack Conklin's going to play. I think he's going to do it.
Jack Conklin's going to play. Our offensive line is going to play. So going back to, we have one more question. We got one more question before we end the show. This is going great. Welcome. I see some viewers that are coming in. Welcome to the show. We have one more question going along the lines of Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb. But what are you thinking? Which one, if you were Kevin Stefanski, if you were Andrew Berry, if you're that front office for the Cleveland Browns, right? So Nick Chubb is on the PUP list for 4 games. So that he's not going to. That's 100% 4 games already. He's not going to be there. There might be a few games after that. We will see. We're not sure, but it's definitely 4 games of the season. So he's going to miss the Cowboys, going to miss the Jacksonville Jaguars, Giants, and then miss the Raiders. Now, if you're that front office, I'm going to start with you, Blake. If you're that front office, do you practice the game plan during the game and run the ball with Jerome Ford as if he were Nick Chubb so that offensive line knows where they're going and kind of get a groove of running the ball? Or do you take this opportunity to let the ball fly with Deshaun Watson and only run the ball 12, 13 times a game? Blake, Coach Blake, tell me what you're doing.
Okay. Coming from a running back myself, played it for 15 years. Every running back runs the ball different.
Yeah.
Like the offensive line, you're told to block like the same way every time, but that's not necessarily true. Like you got to know who's in the backfield. Like if they practice with Jerome Ford, like it's going to be completely different than if they practice with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is literally something else. Like Jerome Ford, he'll get a few yards, but it's not Nick Chubb. We need to let Watson throw the ball around, but not 60 yards down the field, bomb first play. We need to let him get these stick routes going, get these wide open routes going, mesh routes. Like he needs to throw the curls, the comebacks, no deep ass posts unless we have Nick Chubb and we can play action to run. Then he's got it wide open, but that's not going to work with Jerome Ford back there.
Zach, what are you thinking? Any rebuttals? What are you thinking?
I agree. I mean, I don't know.
I've never heard Zach say that before.
Yeah.
I agree. No, I agree. I don't know. I just, because for me it's like Nick Chubb. I go a little into the conspiracy. Like I think Nick Chubb could have gone week 1, but he didn't. But I think the biggest issue that
on the PUP list, he could have gone week 1.
Hear me out, okay?
Did you see those squat videos?
Yeah, I was about to say
God.
that is a freak. Secondly, just hear me out. The reason I think he could have gone week 1, and here's the conspiracy thought is, and it just makes sense to me, is okay, he has not practiced at all during the training camps. So he's not in football shape. He's in shape like Nick Chubb shape, but he's not in football shape, right? Hasn't been hit, hasn't been that stuff. So when you're on the PUP list, from my understanding, I'm pretty sure you can still practice. And I might be wrong, but I'm almost positive you might be able to still practice and still be in there. So my thing is okay, well, if you're on the PUP list, that gives you 4 weeks essentially to ready yourself for your comeback, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're putting yourself into a training aspect of things, right, it makes sense because if the guy isn't physically ready,
they can't practice. They can't practice.
they
They're allowed
can't
to-
practice.
Yeah, they're participating. They can participate in team activities, but they cannot practice.
Okay, so maybe he hasn't been doing run-throughs or whatever. As far as I know, he's been at the games. I don't know if he's actually been at a lot of the training camp practices or anything like that. Point is guy can get in the film. He can start to get back into a routine so that by week 5, if he's ready for that full week of practice coming back, we can throw him in there. But if he's not, he gets a full week of practice, and then he has another full week of practice before he comes back. So he comes back week 6. I think this was all planned probably from
The get-go.
the get-go. Is the guy was going to – he's probably physically – because OBJ is in the same situation. He's physically able to perform. They just have him on the PUP list because, guy hasn't practiced. So I think it's all kind of said and done. But I don't think you change your game plan for your depending upon your personnel at all in this situation. I think you go in there and you just run the game the way that you always are going to run the game, because you can't. Nick Chubb has the vision of somebody that is just far
Insane.
beyond anything we've ever seen. I mean, he sees holes and he sees gaps and things that nobody would see. Ford, I remember watching last year, and I'm pretty sure Blake brought this up, but he was missing wide open holes in the inside all the time. His vision isn't what Nick Chubb was. And to be fair, not many people out there have that vision. So you can't tell an offensive line, hey guys, you got to do this for this guy and this for this guy.
It's
just
it's also a confidence kind of thing.
Right.
Like you're definitely more confident in Nick Chubb to bust one than Jerome Ford.
Absolutely. Yep. But if you're Jerome Ford, this is a great opportunity to say, all right,
to get that confidence.
Right, hold my earrings.
Another great opportunity. Another great opportunity.
Well, I know, but
last
year he was not. I don't think he was expected to play as much as he did.
Almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
not bad. Not a bad season.
He was great out of the backfield, and he was great when they put him out wide. Catches the football he's explosive after the catch. So he's got some tools that I think are extremely interesting and innovative when it comes to what Kevin Stefanski likes to do. But when it comes to first down and 10 on their 40, and we need a quick 10 yards just to get ourselves into at least field goal range. Can you give us can you bounce outside and get it for us? Can you find something when there's nothing? That's where I don't know if Jerome Ford has it. I don't think we've seen it yet, but that's not saying that he can't do it.
And it sucks for people who are going to be down there, because Chubb's not back until week 5, which is the Commanders. We'll be down there to see him live against the Cowboys. Me and my wife are going to see the Giants on September 22nd. And then Chubb comes back away against the Commanders, and then it's away against the Eagles, and then we don't see him live in our stadium until October 20th against the Bengals. So, we need him back.
Hell of a game to come back.
What if he doesn't come back till that game?
Could be.
I mean, he might not. Like Zach said, he might go an extra 2 weeks.
Because what if let's say they're 4-2, 5-1 without him?
Well, that's the thing is, I think a lot of the PUP thing was just we don't know what the hell we're going to be after 4 games. If we're 4-2, or if we're 3-1, awesome. If we're 4-0, awesome. If we're 2-2, okay, well, maybe we need to push that to you got to come back against the Commanders. Yeah. And if our run game is that bad, which I think a lot of that's going to be solved with offensive.
Dude, we made the playoffs with Joe Flacco and Jerome Ford last year.
I think it's just going to be average.
Win. Yeah, I don't see it being anything top 10, but I could see us being a 15th overall and running.
Until Deshaun figures it out, it's just going to be like last year, where we rely on the defense, get field position, and we have an amazing kicker, and we get points when we can get them. That's
Yeah.
just how it was last year. And
All
it's
right,
probably
well-
going to have to be like that the first 4 games. And if the running game sucks, Nick Chubb, you got to start playing, buddy. If we're 4-0, we can hold you till the Bengals
Listen.
game.
If
Well, go ahead and predict the score.
Yeah, we can just score. We can run it. We can go ahead, finish your thought, Zach, and we can go into some score.
I know. God forbid, we need a running back at that time, and Nick Chubb isn't doing it for us. I mean, we got $60 million in cap space, so you better find a way to get somebody out of purgatory and bring him to Cleveland, because at that point, there's no excuses.
I was hoping
Not
that
Kareem Hunt either. Not Kareem Hunt.
I was hoping it would have actually. I know it was trash when he went to play for the Jets, like horrible. But I was hoping it was going to be Dalvin Cook, that we could potentially bring somebody.
And he didn't do anything wherever he went. I can't remember.
He went to the Jets last year. They had him on the Jets last year, and while Brees Hall was injured, and it's like, okay,
Well, didn't he go to the Ravens too?
Yeah,
I think he
towards
did.
the end.
but, like,
I think he did. It was
just
towards
released.
I think it was for the playoff run.
Yeah, and he didn't do anything last year.
He didn't even play.
I don't think he even played. But so they definitely let him go dumb quick. But so let's get into some score predictions. I'll start with you, Dave, and then we'll go Blake, and then Zach, and then I'll say my score prediction. What's your score prediction for the game?
Well, I mean,
What's the spread?
Yeah, what is? I don't even know what the spread is. Here, let me look. Hold on. So Vegas thinks
It's probably Browns like 1.5.
I think it's Browns minus 142, which is minus 2.5. I believe is what it is. Yeah, minus 2.5.
Yep.
So
Okay.
we're
so.
so basically we just have home field is what they're giving us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, not even that. 2.5, right?
Yeah, it's 3 would be home field.
Eventually.
But
Right. So they're thinking the Cowboys could win.
Yep.
Here's what I think, man, is you have 2 of the top defenses in the league with 2 of the top pass rushes in the league with offenses who are completely rusty and have absolutely no playing time in the last 6 months, 8 months. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than most people think, but I think the Browns do win the game. I just don't think the Cowboys match up well against us. I think our corners shut down CD. I think they bracket him all game, and they make Brandon Cooks have to make a play.
Yep.
I think Dak Prescott is going to have to carry the weight. They have no running game. Zeke is a shell of what he was back in the day. They have absolutely no running game. If they run for more than 60 to 70 yards against us, that's shameful.
Wow.
But I do think the Browns win, and I'm going to say 17-7.
Ooh.
17-7, low scoring.
Yeah,
Okay.
low scoring.
I like that. Blake, what do you got for me?
Basically, kind of what Dave said, like about the
Don't
teams
just
and
copy
stuff.
mine.
I know, but my brain
Well, I'm
still
going to write
wasn't
these
turning.
down so we give out a
Working
week.
90 hours a week down there.
And then we're going to write
110,
the
crazy in a
tallies.
row. Oh shoot! Now I lost my train of thought.
The
Deshaun
Browns are winning
Watson.
by
Yeah, the Browns are winning, but I think Deshaun gets 3 tuds, but we don't get a rushing touchdown.
Sign me up
And-
if that happens, man.
I take that. I'll do
I'll
a
do that.
cartwheel if that happens.
What?
Yeah,
so what's-
I think he throws for 223 tuds, and the Browns win 24-17.
Okay. Dave. Sorry, Zach. I'm writing these down.
Man, I hate. You guys know me. I hate doing this because
I
Yes.
hate it too.
it's my like anytime I predict anything for the Browns, I feel like it's just not gonna come true. But I think
So
I'll
predict the
I'll
Cowboys
change it.
win.
You know what? No, I'm gonna
Cowboys
change that.
win.
This season I'm gonna be a little bit more optimistic, and we'll try something. If it sucks, sorry guys, but I'm going to go Browns over the Cowboys. I think it's actually going to be a little bit higher scoring than I think many would think. I think the Browns are going to win 24-21. I think just because rust. I think it's going to come down to something like a field goal late in the game. Defense I think is going to be there, but you don't know what it's all going to look like. But I do think that Deshaun's going to put up 2 touchdowns. He will throw an interception.
Hopefully Dak will too.
And I think he'll put up 2 touchdowns, interception. I think he's going to put up 300-plus yards, though. And I think Dak will probably do the same, something like that. And hopefully Jerry Jeudy scores week 1, too. I'd love to see just a breakout season from Jerry Jeudy, man, because every time I see
Elijah Moore, either one.
I just every time I see interviews with him, he's such a wholesome dude. Like he just and his favorite player is Amari Cooper. Like how do you not you can't make it up.
That's sick.
Kid went to Alabama because of Amari Cooper. Like you can't make it up. So like I'm hoping the dude. I just want health for all of these our team, and just go Browns.
I couldn't just go Browns. So I was writing down your guys' predictions because we're gonna try to add them up at the end and then see who does the MC. Welcome.
MC's here.
Browns
1 point.
I want to know the
6 field goals, MC.
Combination for 19. I feel like you got to have no. You don't really need a safety. You just need like 4 field goals.
Oh yeah.
But but again, I think the Browns are going to win this one pretty convincingly, 21-10. There's a couple things. We're gonna try to focus in on CeeDee Lamb. I love what Dave said about that. Focus in on CeeDee Lamb. I want to see Jalen Tolbert. I want to see a lot of Brandon Cooks trying to get open. That's number 1. Yep. Number 2, I want to test Trayvon Diggs early. I also want to test that new rookie corner they have in I think it's Kalen Carson.
Yep.
I want to test that rookie corner. We have a lot of wide receivers in Jerry Jeudy. We didn't get to answer that question from Gage, but we have a lot of experience with getting Amari Cooper involved and getting Elijah Moore involved. And now you throw in a Jerry Jeudy, got a 3-headed monster. I don't know if their corners can handle it. They don't have Stephon Gilmore anymore, his leadership.
So I really Njoku.
Deron Bland
and David Njoku. And also for their tight end, I want to see what Jake Ferguson could do if he can get open. But if you it's hard to do. But if that's so Ward, 100%, 100% with this secondary, I think you get it early, get the CeeDee Lamb's head early, and then they'll probably score.
Concussion free, please.
Concussion free. You know how I feel about it.
Hey, all 3 of our linebackers can cover too. Keep that in mind. All 3 of them can cover.
Absolutely. And we are at home. Good news for the Browns defense. We are at home.
8-1 last year.
8-1. So I mean, we're going right into it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, we made our predictions. We'll give out a little award to the person with the best predictions. But again, great show. It's week 1. We're back. Down with the Browns is back. We'll be back next week. We'll let you know the time. Check out the Twitter page. Check us out on Facebook. And as always, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Bird song!